Izzy. So I know what it looks like, and I wasn't just sitting on the floor playing with some toys, because that'd be kind of weird. What I was doing is I was reenacting what a play therapist may see when they are first engaging with a child who just came inside of their office, which may look something like this. You're going to have a different arrangement of toys set up. You're not going to want to talk to the child. You're just going to all be silent like you were and observing, because the child is going to be expressing different emotions through their play. And you may have thought because I smashed those toys together that I may have been angry or upset. But as a play therapist, you never want to perpetuate any kind of emotion. Your goal is to help the child to learn to identify, feel, and express their feelings in a way that makes sense to them and to those they interact with. So what I'm going to ask of you all today is to please close your eyes. Think of a time of you as a kid, 5, 6, 7, maybe younger, maybe older, and you're playing. I just want you to think, what are you playing with? Who are you playing with? Are you playing with anybody? Really use your senses. What do you think? What do you feel? What do you see? What do you hear? Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that some of you are reflecting on some pretty fond memories of your childhood. And if you haven't, you can now open your eyes. Some of you may be thinking about toys you once used to have that were your favorite and you then broke or lost on a trip down south. Or you may be thinking about friendships you once had or bridges that are now burned. But what I do think to say is that play is a powerful and expressive way for children to keep their minds at bay and to have some fun and express themselves. But an often overlooked aspect of play is its therapeutic properties and what it can provide for you. So this is what most people think about when they think of therapy. You know, some woman kind of close to your mom's age, probably wearing a cardigan or something like that, and then some like angsty kid sitting on a couch talking about how they feel. So for some people that is the truth, and for other people it's not. So sometimes play is art. Sometimes therapy is play, and sometimes therapy is art, sometimes therapy is talking. Therapy can come in many different shapes and sizes. And I could say that because I went to therapy, I think I'm better than everybody, but that's just not the truth, and I don't quite feel that's the truth. But I do think that therapy is well incorporating some other projects that we're going to talk about a little bit later on, like play, can come together to really help a person heal and come back to being their genuine and authentic self. So, I do want to say that life is hard. We all know that. The trials and tribulations of every single day life are going to knock you down and kick you in the butt, and you're going to wish you could just stop sometimes. And a lot of the ways we learn to deal with these tough emotions and feelings and situations is through our childhoods. And if you're anything like me, probably grew up feeling pretty alone, sad, unwanted, undeserving, unloved, or like a burden. And that foundation's really never set for you. Or again, if you're like me and you went through some emotional trauma, some physically abusive parents, emotionally absent parents, or some sexual abuse through family, that really, it's not really set up for you to learn how to take care of yourself and handle things. So I spent most of my childhood into adolescence pretty depressed and alone, I feel. So what I do and what I did is I play. Now at 17 years old, I'm not going home and playing with dinosaurs and trains and coloring in the driveway with chalk. Instead, I lace up my skates and I go to work. We are currently in a mental health epidemic. 2.7 million children and 280 million adults are currently suffering from depression, and it's only getting worse. It's true what they say, depression is the silent killer. Depression will slowly and day by day make you miserable. You will not want to wake out of bed. You're not going to want to talk to anyone. You don't eat. You don't sleep. You don't shower. You can't brush your teeth. You feel like the worst version of yourself. Depression kills, and it's okay to not be okay. Depression's not easy. I know it's not, and I'm telling you firsthand it's not, and I know most of you could probably agree that depression is hard. But there are ways to get out of this feelings of isolation and to help yourself, and that's what we can talk about when I did with play. So, I mentioned earlier a way I help my depression is by going to work. What does that mean for me? I currently work at the Izzy Arenas as an assistant manager, a skating coach, and a camp counselor. And today I want to talk to you guys about the former of the two titles. This is my Snowplow 3 class. These are some of my favorite friends over here. We have Matthew, we have Adeline over here, that's Jacob. These are some of my friends, Lucy. All right, and you are thrown into an environment with 8 to 15 kids who have little to no skating experience, minus the fact that it's cold. They are 3 to 5 years old, and they have little tiny knives on their feet. You have 30 minutes to make these kids future Olympians, so you gotta learn to get pretty creative. And the way we do that, and I've learned through many other coaches, is through play. Play creates these strong bonds with the kids where we are able to connect and have a great experience teaching them ice skating, but also having play and having fun. If any of you walked into the Brewster Ice Arena coach's room, you'd see a bunch of blue buckets just like that with different labels of different kinds of toys we have. We have our toy ice cream desserts for our Sunday swizzles, and we have our furry and animal friends, which we use to help do scavenger hunts and practice some of our skating skills. So, working with these guys, I have had opportunities to bond and interact with the kids, and it's not always just play. We do other things as well. So, why do I care? Like, yeah, do I get paid? Yeah. Is it nice money? Yeah, it's a paycheck. But I also care because selfishly, helping them helps a part of me. So, like I said before, as I felt as a kid, I always kind of felt alone, didn't really have a lot of friends, didn't really feel like I belonged anywhere, kind of dealt with some feelings of depression and anxiety. But I help them because it selfishly helps me, and I get to be there that was never there for me. There's someone to look up to, somebody to talk to, somebody to run around with, and then, you know, whatever you want to imagine that is. But it just provides an opportunity to expand and explore and kind of connect to someone in a way that nobody was ever there for you. So, as I was saying, there's a lot of crying when you take the new kids in a new environment. Think about it, your first time ice skating, you're 3 to 5 years old, you're getting put on a big ice surface with a stranger, you've never skated before, you're probably cold, class starts at 11:30, you probably want some lunch, so you're cold, you're hungry, you may be tired, so there's going to be a lot of crying. It's inevitable. And however much crying you're thinking about, times 10. And there's different ways to interact with the crying. For anything like me, you probably tend to overanalyze the crying when you're really thinking in your head, why are you crying? I know you're not hurt, so how does you really feel? So you start to ask the kid, are you cold? Are you tired? Are you hungry? What's wrong? You try to identify the emotion. And if you're anything like me, as a kid, if you were crying, you probably heard, if you don't stop crying by the time I count to 3, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. So, being able to redo that and be that position of power and the authoritative presence over somebody like that and get to kind of treat somebody the way you wish you were treated has a strong therapeutic presence. So, moving on, as I was saying, getting to be there with the kids and be a role model that you never had is such a rewarding and it's an amazing feeling. And you're not always just playing around with toys and connecting, but sometimes it's as simple as eating lunch and talking. This is Nicholas. This is Alex. These are the 2 twins I spent my entire summer with, and I'm going to be seeing tomorrow to give them some classes. Nicholas put me on to one of my new favorite country singers, Parker McCollum, and Alex over here taught me how to disassemble and reassemble a Roomba. He's only 5 years old. Working with these kids, I've met some of the smartest minds of our future generation, and I've also got to make an impact on them, so I hope one day when they make it big and Nicholas is in the NHL and Alex is sending ships off to NASA, they remember who I am. So gentle parenting is if you work in any kind of childcare profession, which it seems most of you do, or are involved in any kind of childcare behavior, you've heard of this new phenomenon called gentle parenting. And gentle parenting, and I just want to make sure I get this correct, is a new form of parenting which has 4 pillars it's based off these 4 pillars. These 4 pillars are empathy, respect, understanding, and boundaries. Now, I'm not a parent, obviously, but I do think I take on an amplification of that, and I like to call it something I like to call gentle coaching. So, like I said, with the gentle coaching, we focus on really just teaching these kids, how to respect each other, how are we being safe, what are we feeling, what are we thinking, and to be expressive, and to kind of realize that it's okay to talk about what you think, what you feel, what you see. So, there's just another video of me having some fun with my kids, just running around, and see what I just did there? I call them my kids. Like, I care about these kids all the time. I'm always doing things to interact with them and to be involved with them. They're like my kids and they're some of my bestest friends. Moving forward, so these are some of the quotes that I've got from some of the kids because some of them are my favorite. This is one of my favorites. Jade and Reach, they're only 4 years old, and they say, at home, our favorite game to play is ice skating. When I ask them what that means, they throw on these oversized pair of socks, run around their hardwood floors, and one of them pretends to be me, and the other one makes drills to get the other sailing. That was really cute. And then another one was, Alexander, Coach Izzy, are you coming to my birthday party? I only want my best friends to be there. That made me feel good inside. So, there's no greater feeling than walking into the ice rink and feeling like a local celebrity. All these little kids running up to you, wanting to talk to you, tell you about their day, giving you hugs, high fives, and just wanting to be around you when you grew up feeling like nowhere you found it fit in and you were unwanted anywhere is really rewarding, and it comes back full circle. So I'm really grateful for everything that these kids have given me, because I don't think I could be the person I was today without them. Now, I don't think my therapy, I need to finish. I don't think my therapy journey was only in isolation to the coaching. Something I have a lot of embarrassment and shame about was this pill right here. A 15 milligram pill that I took every single morning. This pill every single day helps to rewire the chemicals in my brain to help me get to a level of punctuality. I was always embarrassed and ashamed about this pill, and some of my closest friends are in this room today, and probably none of them even knew. I was embarrassed to be who I was. I was embarrassed to need help. But upon some reflecting, I kind of realized that if it wasn't for this 15 milligram pill that I take every single morning right after I eat my breakfast, I wouldn't be someone's favorite coach. And I wouldn't be able to be there for the way that those kids deserve. So, moving forward, I tell myself every single day when I'm having a hard time that I work and heal myself so I can be there for them.